فرحان كالظبيل للهلولة حط السلاح حطوم حيلة نضربوا شوفار الليلة.
Dies דבר תורה לעילוי נשמת הרב הגאון הצדיק רבי יהושע בן זאי הילו, זכר צדיק לברכה. Every year in this time I come to Mexico, and always on Shabbat I go to pray with him. I know Mexico now for 30 years. I know everybody, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, I saw a lot of people that they came now to get married. When I saw the parents, they were not married. Now I see the children married. And I saw this week a woman that Baruch Hashem, after a lot of years, she was looking for me. Every time I come, she heard that I was here once I left. She went to Israel, and I was not there. For 28 years, she's looking. And every time I am around, they'll have to leave. And this week, she had a dream. A dream, the paper I give her. And the dream, where's the paper? You lost it. And she woke up and she started to look for the paper. And she found the paper. When she found the paper, one of the family told her, you know, Rabbi David is here. So last night, by Mizrachi, she came to see me last night there with the paper with it. Baruch Hashem, I'm talking about this tzaddik, Abilu, alav shalom. He was, for me, it was like Moshe Rabbeinu. In the Torah, we saw that Moshe Rabbeinu, he didn't want that he will be the leader of Am Yisrael. Why? Because Moshe Rabbeinu, he feel, who I am to be the leader of Am Yisrael? I'm nothing. He was something. Moshe Rabbeinu, just imagine, Moshe Rabbeinu, he was when he was brought up in the palace by his mother Batya, and then every day he used to go to see his brothers working, building. He was crying with them, and he was helping them. And they told him, "You're a prince. You're the prince." I'm not a prince. I'm the prince in the palace, but I am a slave here. And he was spending more time with his brothers than the time that he was spending in the palace. And that was Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom. Ve'ish Moshe anav. And then he saw Jewish people fighting. And he told them, why are you fighting? It's no good. And they told him, who are you? You're nothing. And they went to Paro. They told Paro, that Moshe, that he is like the son of Batya, he killed an Egyptian. And Paro wanted to kill him. And Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom, he ran away from Egypt. Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom, if he wanted, he could kill those two Jews that they wanted to kill him. If somebody wants to kill you, you have to defend yourself. He didn't do that. He said, the Jewish people suffer so much in Egypt, why you have to give them more? And he left. Maybe 40 years, maybe 50 years, he was outside Egypt, without family, without a wife, without nobody. Can you imagine? 50 years outside his family. He was running. All this why? Because he didn't want to harm a Jew. So Hashem said, Moshe, I cannot find somebody like you. And Moshe didn't want. He said, no, I'm nothing. These people more than me. These people more than me. And at the end Hashem said, Well, if you think there is people more than you, I don't think so. I think you are the best. For me, you are the best. But Moshe Rabbeinu said to Hashem, please do me a favor. There is my brother. My brother can be the leader. No, I want you. And then, the question is, there is something, בדרך שאדם רוצה להלחית, מה הולכים אותו? If you want to be a good man, so Hashem will help you to be a good man. You want to be a bad man, so Hashem will help you to be a bad man. The way you choose, they will help you from up there. It's your choice. You're Behira. You're Behira. You make a choice. You choose to do this, so they will help you to do this. So, Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, I know that your choice is to be humble. But you have to know something, Moshe. By being the leader, you have to be more humble. Because if you are the leader of the Bnei Israel, so they will give you kavod. So you have to fight with yourself not to accept that kavod. So that means you can be more humble if you are a leader. You know, my friend, one day I was giving a big show in Paris. It was during the Gulf, the Gulf of War, the War of Gulf. And the title was Gog Magog, the fight of the Gog Magog before Mashiach comes. And that time, people, they were thinking, maybe this is the Mashiach coming. There were thousands of people that came for the show. Behemet, thousands of people. I did it in La Victoire. There is a big synagogue in Paris. It's named Victoire. There is only downstairs 1,000 people, and there is two up floors. It was full. When I arrived, I felt some gaba. I felt something. Wow. All this, they came for me. I'm just a man. So then I stand up to give the show. I promise you, I forgot everything. I did not know what to do. I was looking at them. I did not know what to do. They were excited. They wanted to listen what I'm going to say. And I said, Hashem, I'm sorry. They came for you. They did not come for me. Now, Hashem, don't do Achilul Hashem. Because if I say nothing, people will be disappointed. So Hashem, do me a favor. Give me back my memory. Give me back. And I'm sorry. And I will tell them what I did. So I will confess in front of everybody. But forgive me. Suddenly everything come back. People, I saw people, they were looking. What's going on? Why it doesn't talk? So to the Rabotai, my friend, I have to tell you, all of you came for what? I want to listen. We came to listen to you. No. You came for what? We came to listen about Gog Magog. Who is Gog Magog? Who is Gog Magog? Well, Gog Magog is the fight between nations, and then Mashiach comes. I said, listen, you know who is Gog Magog? You and your Sahara. This is Gog Magog. You and the Sahara. You want to do good things, and the Sahara want to do bad things. So it's a war. It's a war between me and Gog Magog. This is Gog Magog. The day I win, the day I will win Magog, so Mashiach will come. And then I started to tell them, well, I'm sorry. When I saw you, I thought for 1 minute that all of you came for me, but no, you came for Hashem. So, Moshe Rabbeinu, so you understand, there was a big rabbi, you know, in my life, I didn't want people to kiss my hand. And I asked Rav Nissim Ribibo, I asked some rabbis, I don't feel comfortable. I am only 40 years old, or 35 years old. I just have a small beard. I'm not. So they told me, Rabbi David, they don't kiss your hand. They kiss the hand of your grandfather. Because you represent your grandfather, so don't think it's your hand they kiss. They kiss the hand of your grandfather. And if you don't give them your hand, they will be upset. Because a lot of times people are upset why I do that. So Rabbi David, don't worry, it's not you. So that give me some... so you see, Hashem is said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, if you want to grow more in your quality, to be humble, more humble, that you have to fight. That means when people give you kavod, it's not for you they give the kavod. No kavod that Torah. If they give you kavod, it's not for you. They give the kavod of the Torah that you study. They give the kavod to me, but through you. That's what makes Moshe Rabbeinu relax. At the beginning, he thought, I want to carry on of my quality. I don't want a big deal. People kissing me in my hand. I want to be the leader. I want to be the Navi of Hashem. I want to teach Torah to the people. Hashem said, Moshe, don't look at this like this. You have being you between me and the Bnei Israel. You are in the middle between me and the Bnei Israel. The people, they don't look at you as something. They look at you as you are the representative of Hashem. And if you do well your job, so you will become more. And that's why you become more anav, more humble. Bemet, that's why the Torah, in the middle of the Torah, it said, Ve'ish Moshe anav. Who wrote Ve'ish Moshe anav? Who wrote? And Moshe, who was the most humble man in the world. Who wrote it? Moshe. How can you, Moshe Rabbeinu, the one who wrote the whole Torah, how can you write about yourself, Ve'ish Moshe anav Mikola Adam? How can you do that? How? From here, we saw that Moshe Rabbeinu wrote it. I can imagine, I write a letter to somebody, I am the big tzaddik of the world, I am the Rabbi David Pinto. Let people write that about you, but you write that about yourself. So how Moshe Rabbeinu write this? And you say, when Moshe Rabbeinu wrote this, he wrote it only because Hashem told him to write it. Not because he felt to write it. Hashem told him, write. It's not because Moshe wanted to write. Hashem, and Moshe believed so much in Hashem. And Moshe said, if Hashem said, write this, he has a reason. I don't know. You want me to write this? I write it. Maybe there will be a lot of people that will learn something from this. But can you imagine how? So that's what Hashem said to Moshe. Moshe, by being my shaliach, by being my man to represent me for the Bnei Israel, you will be more tzaddik, you will be more anav, you will reach a high level, more and more and more. And that's what we saw about Moshe Rabbeinu. My grandfather, Rabbi Chaim Pito, alav shalom, everybody talk about him, this. A lot of people that they told me this. My grandfather, he passed away about 90 years ago. So 40 years ago, people 40 years ago, they remembered him a lot. Still today, there is some people who are very old, they remember him. And they told me that Rabbi Chaim Pito, alav shalom, he chose to eat a lot of times only poor people. When he sit with them on the floor, I mean, it's not kavod for Rabbi Chaim Pito. It's not. But Rabbi Chaim Pito, he feel that his kavod is to give kavod to other people. I mean, can you imagine a poor man that Rabbi Chaim Pito is sitting with him on the floor, eating with him a piece of bread, what he felt, that man. Rabbi Chaim Pito wanted to put everybody at his level. My grandfather, yeah. He wanted to put everybody at his level. At his level. No, I'm not more than you. Maybe you are more than me, but I am not more than you. And that's what Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe, by being my man, you will teach Bnei Israel how to be humble, You will teach Bnei Israel how to study Torah with humble. You will teach the Bnei Israel something. My friend, I would like to just finish. The teacher that Rabbi Hillel Alav Shalom, the Rab from Mexico that passed away a few years ago, I was near his body when he passed away. Bemet, I saw him once in Ramada in Yerushalayim, once or twice. I will never forget. He was older than me. I felt somebody touch my back. Kvod Harav. I turned, it was Rabbi Hillel. He took my hand, he kissed it. A lot of times, I avoid. He said, no, you have Zechot Avot. I was ashamed, I was embarrassed that he took my hand in front of everybody to kiss it. First, he's a bit Hacham. Second, he's a Rab of the Kehillah. Third, he's older than me. I mean, I don't feel to do it. But always when he used to do introduction, before I speak, he used to speak about Rabbi Yoshua Pinto, my grandfather. He used to speak, and I told him one day, how do you know the story of my family? He said, who doesn't know? Who is your family? Who doesn't know? I spoke with some chief rabbis of Israel. When they listen your name, the name of your grandfather, they do kavod. But I told him, please, he said, I don't kiss your hand, I kiss the hand of the Torah. But besides, this is his anava. From where he learned Rabbi Hillel this? From Moshe Rabbeinu. I think that the more you feel less proud of yourself, the more people will give you kavod. And the more people will give you kavod, you will realize that this kavod is not for you. This kavod is for what you present. You present the Torah. It's for the Torah. That's why I told to my children, to my sons, I told them, look, if somebody kisses your hand, avoid. If you don't feel Yirat Shamayim. If you have Yirat Shamayim, if you believe in Hashem, and all what you do is for Hashem, let them kiss your hand. But if you feel that, no, you are not what you are, don't give the hand. Because there, Hashem will accuse you why you did that. So, Baruch Hashem, Yeratzon. Now, the grandson of Rabbi Hillel, he said, you're right, I remember, he passed away, Zayin of Adar. He passed away the day that Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. That means that he had something from Moshe Rabbeinu, alav shalom. He had something. שתהיה נשמתו בגן עדן, ושהקדוש ברוך הוא ייתן לבנים שלו, לנכדים שלו, ברכה והצלחה.